What's going on, guys? I'm going to keep this short and sweet. If you think the Knicks need to make a trade to get back into the playoffs and win a playoff series, unlike they did last year, like this video. I want to gauge where all you stand on this. So if you think the Knicks need to make a trade to get back into the playoffs and win a playoff series, like this video. Bing bong, what's going on, New York Knicks fans? I'm your host, Marshall Green, and you are watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. We have a great show planned for you guys. We're going to touch on the latest trade rumors that circle around De'Aaron Fox and Evan Fournier. Can't wait to unpack these, but let's start with De'Aaron Fox. And the reason we're bringing him up is because Bleacher Report put out an article that highlighted one player from every team that team should trade. And for the Sacramento Kings, this is a quote. They should trade everyone but Tyrese Haliburton and Rashawn Holmes. So that's why we're talking about De'Aaron Fox. What we do on New York Knicks Now is we present you guys with rumors, we break them down, we talk about them, and I give you my opinion. So let's do it. Fox and the Kings, Fox and the Knicks, have been long linked in trade rumors since he was drafted out of Kentucky, and I always thought one day De'Aaron Fox would be a New York Knick, and I think with the fact that Tyrese Haliburton has really showed that he can be a lead guard and a point guard for a solid team, unlike the Kings have been, but I do think the Kings believe Haliburton could be the point guard of the future. I think that makes De'Aaron Fox expendable. The Kings, they're a dumpster fire, and the NBA trade deadline is just around the corner, so I could very easily see them be sellers and maybe give up De'Aaron Fox for a player or two and maybe 2 or 1 first-round picks. De'Aaron Fox this year, he's done what De'Aaron Fox has done. 20 points from the field, 20 points per game, 5 assists per night, 44.9, nearly 45% from the field. That is really good. That is an efficient shooting percentage from the field for a point guard. But that bottom stat you see, absolutely disgusting. Yuck. 25% from 3. That's not going to cut it in the modern NBA. And that's the one thing that concerns me about De'Aaron Fox. His lack of ability to build on top of his three-point shot and becoming a consistent three-point shooter. We'll continue to unpack these De'Aaron Fox trade rumors. But first, I want to get your guys' opinion on what we do here at New York Knicks Now. How likely are you to recommend us to a Knicks fan? Do it on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, this guy Marshall sucks. I would never recommend this channel to a Knicks fan. Or 10, I love this channel. I think everything you guys do is fire, and I have no recommendations. But let me know as well. Besides scaling it from 1 to 10, what are we doing well, and what can we improve on? We're all about audience interaction, and I want to take the pulse of you guys, so let me know. How likely are you to recommend us to a Knicks fan? De'Aaron Fox is a great basketball player. His potential is endless. He has a very, very high ceiling. But the fit, as of right now, concerns me for the New York Knicks. His lack of ability to be a successful or average or just below average three-point shooter, that scares me. I am scared of the fact that he is not an adequate shooter from long range. Look at these numbers. His career three-point percentage shooting numbers. His rookie year, he shot it at 30% on 2 attempts per game. Wasn't really shooting it that much. He struggled at Kentucky with the 3-ball. He didn't go into his rookie years hoisting up threes. His second year, he shot 37%, which is above league average on nearly 3 attempts. What about the following season? He upped his attempts, and his three-point percentage went down. That's never good. Then the following year, he upped his percentage, or his three-point attempts per game, even more. 5.5 three-pointers attempted, and he made them only at 32%. That's not good. And this year, we already talked about it, but he's attempting about 4 three-pointers per game, and he's only converting at 25%. This is something that really concerns me with De'Aaron Fox. And before I give you my opinion, I want to hear yours. So weigh in. Be the GM. Take the seat of Leon Rose. Should the Knicks trade for De'Aaron Fox? Remember, the NBA trade deadline is just around the corner. Type Y for yes or type N for no. For me, it matters who we are giving up. I'm not ready to give up on an Obi Toppin or an RJ Barrett. Or maybe one of those guys could be included in a trade, but if they are, I'm not ready to add draft picks to that. I don't want to give up Alec Burks. I know he's a vet, but I think he is a key piece to this Knicks team. So let's take a look at this fan-sided trade idea. They touched on a De'Aaron Fox New York Knicks trade, so let's break it down. They said the Knicks would get De'Aaron Fox and the Kings would get Obi Toppin, Kemba Walker, Alec Burks, a 2022 first-round pick, top 3 protected, which means if it were to fall into the top 3, the Knicks would keep the pick. Also a 2023 first-round pick, the Dallas pick that the Knicks got in the KP trade, and also a 2022 second-round pick. I'll give you my thoughts on this, but you tell me first. Would you make this trade, giving up Obi, Kemba, Alec, 2 first-rounders, and a second-rounder? Weigh in. Type 1 for yes or type 2 for no if you would not make this trade. I want to see all of these comments in the comment section. I would not make this deal for a couple of reasons. I don't think you should have to give up Obi Toppin, who has grown exponentially in his second year in the NBA, and add 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick and Alec Burks. If you could maybe give up Alec Burks, Kemba Walker, a first-round pick, then I would do it. If you could find a way to get Evan Fournier in it, that would be awesome. Giving up Obi, Burks, and multiple first-rounders is way too much for me. I really like the steps that Obi Toppin has made this year. He is dynamic in the open court. We all knew that. But he is showing more than that. He's showing the intangibles. His IQ has gotten much better since last year, and I'm not ready to bail on him. I would not make this trade because I think that is too much, but I would love for De'Aaron Fox to be a New York Knick one day. Hopefully it's this year, but hopefully Leon Rose fleeces the Kings and we get him at a very discounted rate. If the Knicks do trade for De'Aaron Fox, we'll be breaking it down on this channel because that's what we do. We react to the latest news and rumors surrounding the New York Knicks. We are your one-stop shop for everything New York Knicks related. All we do on this channel is break down Knicks news and rumors. And I want to thank everybody that's hit that big red button. But look, guys, if you want more videos on this channel with the season progressing and the NBA trade deadline down the corner, you got to subscribe because more subs equals more videos. And right now, the Lakers, the Warriors, and the Celtics and the Mavs channel here at Chat Sports, they have more subs than us, so they get to do more videos, and that pisses me the hell off as a New York Knicks fan. I want to talk Knicks basketball every day, so help me out and hit that big red button. Guys, don't Google Fournier. I promise you're not going to like it. But seriously, let's talk about Evan Fournier and some potential trade rumors that I'm sure will arise as we get closer to the 2022 NBA trade deadline. Evan Fournier has not lived up to his 4-year, $73 million contract. Just saying that out loud makes my stomach hurt. I wish Leon Rose wouldn't have done that. His probably biggest mistake in his tenure since he's been with the Knicks. Plain and simple, Evan Fournier has not been playable at times late in games, and it's because of his lack of defense, which makes him a liability, and his physicality has just not been inspiring. This is a guy that continuously gets taken off the dribble to the hoop, to the cup, and gets finished over all day long. I understand he's not supposed to be a defensive stopper, but the Knicks signed this guy, and there were reports came out that they believed he was more than just a shooter, and that's why they gave him the bag. 4 years, $73 million. Absolutely brutal. It just hasn't worked out so far. And last night versus the Indiana Pacers, yikes. 21 minutes, 0 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. This dude was just out there getting his cardio in, running from baseline to baseline. Might as well have been running suicides because he really did nothing to affect the game in a negative or a positive way, and that's usually a really bad sign. Let's break down some numbers on Evan Fournier on the defensive side, and I want to shout out Tommy Beer, one of my favorite follows on Twitter in the Knicks world. He's great. Give him a follow. This season, the Knicks are allowing 112 points per 100 possessions with Evan Fournier on the court. That's the worst defensive rating among all NY rotation players. With Fournier on the bench, the Knicks are allowing only 103.6 points per 100 possessions. Over New York's last 5 games, they've allowed 111.7 points per 100 possessions with Fournier on the floor. This is crazy. And that number drops to down below 96 with Fournier off the court. Dating back to Christmas, this is even worse. Fournier has logged more than 93 minutes, yet somehow grabbed a total of just 5 rebounds. I understand Fournier is not a big guy. That's been a notorious person that's a good rebounder. But guys, at the end of the day, that's all effort. And sometimes I question how hard Evan Fournier is playing, and I hate doing that because these are professional athletes that are putting meals and money on the table for their family. I expect them to be playing hard. So far this season, it's been a rough go for Evan Fournier. Almost 13 points per night, with almost 2 assists per night, and then he's shooting only 40% from the field. His three-point percentage is okay at 36, but he just hasn't been the same player that he's been in the past with the Orlando Magic and the brief stint he had with the Boston Celtics. He caught fire with the Celtics. The Knicks thought they were going to get that same player, and that's why they gave him the bag. But let me know, was the Evan Fournier contract a mistake. There were other guys the Knicks could have signed, like DeMar DeRozan, who reportedly had interest in the Knicks. That hurts. I just read that. We'll talk about that on the next video here at New York Knicks Now, so make sure you're subscribed. But get your thoughts in. Was the Fournier contract a mistake? Type M for mistake or type R for the right move. In my opinion, I'm just going to be honest. Evan Fournier has been a huge disappointment. I thought this was a guy that was going to come over and space the floor for guys like RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. And late in games, he was going to be the outlet pass for Julius Randle when he was double teamed in the elbow area when he goes ISO Jew. I really thought Evan Fournier was going to be able to provide a punch and an offensive threat next to Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, and it just hasn't really worked out that well. He doesn't play that many minutes in the fourth quarter, and when you get paid $73 million, you need to play in the fourth quarter. But unfortunately for the Knicks, his defense is so bad, he's been unplayable. And Tom Thibodeau, I'm sure, is only playing him at this point because Leon Rose and Knicks management is telling him they need him to play. But I promise you, if this prolongs, Fournier could find himself out of the rotation like Kemba Walker did. What about what we thought we were going to be getting with Evan Fournier? The 7 seasons he spent in Orlando, he was a good player. He was injured a good bit, but he was efficient, and he put up 16 points per game, 3 assists, 45% from the field, and 37% from 3, which is on par with what he's doing right now. But he has just not been the same player that the Knicks thought they were going to get. This is someone that hasn't lived up to the hype, and I promise you the Knicks are regretting it. The Knicks, with the NBA trade deadline almost here, they need to look to trade Evan Fournier. This is a contract that could handicap the moves that the Knicks could make in the future because of the fact you're paying this guy $73 million. I know a lot of people like to blame the struggles on Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, and I don't want to put it solely on Evan Fournier, but he has not helped out the problem, and I think he is the reason the Knicks have really struggled so far to start this new NBA basketball season. So sound off for me. We've seen a lot of this in the NBA where a team will trade a player with a large salary cap, a large salary cap, and they would include a first-round pick to sweeten the deal and have a team take on that contract. So what would you do? Would you include a first-round pick in a Fournier trade to dump him and get salary cap relief? Type T for trade or type P for pass. And guys, hit me up on Twitter. I'm trying to get to 800 Twitter followers, and I only want them to be Knicks and Giants fans. Because here at New York Knicks Now, I host here, and I also host the Giants channel as well. I'm our New York guy. I was born in New York. I love the Knicks. I love the Giants. I'm tweeting about them all day, every day. So hit me up and give me a follow and send me a DM, and I will follow back everyone that sends me a DM letting me know they came from this video.